So welcome all of you for this program, Saturday Night Live Water Conversation about doing more with less water. So before we get started, I would like to give a context to the talk, to the conversation that we'll be having with Gautam Surana. And so just I want to show you a few facts and figures that will allow you to appreciate why we are having this talk today. Just a minute. I have to do some adjustment to the. 1 minute.
Ma'am, your voice is not audible.
Yeah, I had put it on mute. Okay, so some of the facts and figures I wanted to share with you. This is a graph. This graph is showing, how much water is used in these cities, and these cities have population of more than 1.5 million. That is 15 lakh population, and in each of the can you please mute your at your end so that we are not hearing your conversations? Thank you. So this graph is showing that the water demand in each of these cities, almost they are mega cities, and these mega cities, the black bar is the water demand that they have. And when they found that if we were to, basically the way the water is used in these cities, if we were to make improvements to the type of water use that's happening, and if we introduce water saving measures in all the buildings that of the city, then the water demand goes down to significantly, as you can see. So the water saving measures, once you introduce, the water demand goes down. Now, why is this important? Because we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them. We know this, right? So right now, the way we approach water crisis or water stress is that we try and look at the supply and the demand difference, that we find that there is less water available compared to the demand of water. And what we do is we go and run for more water to create more water. We try to find more supply. We increase the supply, which is understandable. But that is not the only way to look at managing water, because that's what we've been doing all the while. And we have depleted the water resources. Because what we haven't looked at is, and why it's important is because the fresh water that we use is a very, very small proportion of the entire water that's available on the planet. We all know that it's less than 1% of water is fresh water. And that is also continuously being depleted because the way we only focus on trying to extract more water to meet the demand that's increasing in the cities. And again, this is a story of every city, that every city has a demand more than what is available, because it's always playing a catch up on the planning. The city is planned before the water is planned. So when the city grows, then afterwards they look at, okay, let's increase the supply because we are falling short of the water available compared to the demand. And that is the conventional approach. And what we don't look at is, how can you reduce the demand in order to improve the deficit? So whenever you have a money shortage, you don't only look at how to increase my income or how to borrow more money, but one of the first things you would do is to, am I using money properly? Can I cut down on the wasteful expenses? And that's the approach we want all the people to take on water. That before you start doing even rainwater harvesting, because rainwater harvesting is also about new water, creating a new water. And what we have done is, because every time we run out of, like we feel the water is less, we go and we have been depleting the groundwater as well. You all know that. And that's again because of the mentality is, can I get more waters? Can I get more water to meet my demand? So the other thing is that when we do that, so because of that, the demand side thinking, that how can I optimize my demand, is always missing from our mindset. I wanted to share a research, like we have looked at many apartments in Bangalore, in looking at, because they always would like to have rainwater harvesting done. And we would investigate before we do the rainwater harvesting, is to go and look at what is the water they're using. Because, so just to share with you, just please bear with me, I want to share a different slide, which is not part of this. So how do I do this? I'll stop share, and then I will go and share a different screen. So I'll come back. Yeah. So I want you to look at this graph. This is of an apartment building where there were like 500, flats. And so now what we looked at is that, because they very much wanted us to do rainwater harvesting, okay, and improve their whatever rainwater harvesting they were doing. And with that, they would get this much water saved. It's about 182,500 liters of water saved every year if they did the rainwater harvesting. Then we also looked at, if they started capturing the runoff from not just the roof, but also the open areas, then they'll get another 12 lakhs liters of water saved every year. But what was surprising is that when we looked at how they're using water, what they already have, we found that if they improved the water efficiency or the way they use water inside their homes, they could save 41 lakh liters of water. So can you see the difference? That we tend to go for a solution which we feel is offering a lot, whereas we do not tend to look at how we are using water. Because by improving the way you use water, you are suddenly saving or releasing this new water. And that is what today's conversation is about. That how can we try and examine the water that we're already using and see what is the potential to improve, to optimize, to become more efficient in that, before we start looking at creating a new water supply. Be that be rainwater, be that be recycled water, doesn't matter, or borewell. But before you even go looking for a new water supply, it is important, very important, that you start looking at your own water usage, because you'll be completely surprised, because we have looked at many families and households we have audited, and we found that 60 to 70% water could be easily saved. Overall, the entire family, it ranges, efficiency savings range from 50% to 70%. And sometimes it's even more, depending on how wasteful is your practice. So that is what today's conversation is about. And I want to now, introduce you to our guest tonight, Gautam Surana. He is the founder of Eco 365. He's been a young water warrior, founded this organization a few years ago in order to help people save water. So I would like to welcome you, Gautam, and let's start the conversation. So
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So thanks for coming at our request. So what I would like to start the conversation with, Gautam, just to help people understand, could you briefly tell us, how did you, first of all, what is Eco 365 about, and how long has been this journey, and how did you, what drove you to start Eco 365?
Okay. So, first of all, good evening, everyone. And ma'am, thank you for taking up this session and a wonderful initiative here. Okay. So, I come from Assam, land of rains.
Right.
Okay. Basically, it keeps raining 3 to 4 months continuously. And Chirapunji from my house is
Wow.
probably, a 4 hours drive.
Wow. That's the
Okay.
highest rainfall,
So,
right? That's the place we have always
yes.
read it's the highest rainfall in India. I didn't know. You're based in Bangalore, so I had no idea you're from Assam. Great. Okay.
Yes, Bangalore also
Yes.
fortunately gets a lot of rainfall.
Yes.
Okay, and on average, 100 days of the city Bangalore gets rainfall. So I've lived next to the river Brahmaputra. I can
Wow.
from my first floor I can see the river. It's like this.
The
It's
longest,
just
one of the
100
longest
meters away
rivers.
from the river. And it so happened that for the studies I was required to travel, and I lived in cities like Bangalore, Hyderabad, Mumbai. And in Mumbai, while I was doing my MBA, I understood that if you miss out your morning slot of storing water, storage of water, and every bathroom or kitchen will have a special tank which will store the water, or they will have a bucket or tumbler, bigger size tumbler to store the water. If you miss out, you saying something, but ma'am?
No, I'm not saying because I muted it because have to instruct the Google Meet guys to come. So please continue. I'm listening. Just for a little while, I'm muting, but you continue, please.
Okay. So what I learned there is that, if you miss out on that morning slot of collecting that water or stocking that water in the morning, okay, the whole day would be a disturbed one. You will not have water for the whole day. And sometimes that water which comes, maybe 200 or 300 liters of water, which comes in the morning 5 to 6 hour at 5 to 6 slot, or sometime even at 3:30, 4 o'clock, it disturbs you a lot. And I was staying in one particular flat like this. So what we used to do is we used to turn on the tap and leave it, so that when the water comes, we don't miss out. At least, when I'm sleeping, let the water get stored. And it so happens that, many a time while you're sleeping in the morning and the water is getting filled and it starts overflowing, a lot of water gets wasted. Okay.
Excuse
And I
me,
realized this is
excuse
a
me,
common problem.
excuse me. Can
Yes.
I ask the organizer to mute everyone because others are mic open, so we could not able to hear you properly. Vipula mic is open and so many people's mic is
Yes.
open,
Thank you,
so
Ashok.
we could not able to listen properly. Your picture also is not coming and
Okay.
voice is breaking. I
I'm
request
trying
all
to
the audience, why can't you mute yourself? If you
please
have
mute.
question on that time, unmute and speak. That
Please
will be
mute.
better.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
And
you
you.
you
so
could
much.
Thank you.
also mute others. You could also mute
Yeah, yes,
everyone.
you're right. You're right. We can mute others, and I did not think of that. I'm trying to see where is the place where I can mute everyone. Yeah, I found it. I found it. So it doesn't show me to mute all. But anyway, I think most of them are muted.
Yeah,
Please
Bhakti,
mute.
you could check that on the things. If you're not getting it, if someone really, it pops up, you could do it at that point of time. Otherwise, I think
Yeah,
it's quite
exactly.
fine.
That's right. I think I'm looking at someone who's not muted. Please mute yourself. All of you, please mute yourself. Mute yourself. Go to the mic and just mute it.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Ashok, for suggesting that so that we can have a clearer concept. So please, maybe you may want to repeat a little bit of the thing that you said before.
Yes. So when I was in Mumbai, I experienced that, if you miss out that morning slot of collecting the water and storing that water for the whole day, okay, you're gonna have a very, very disturbed day. And sometimes this water don't come regularly, once in 4 days, once in 2 days, or once in 3 days. So what we used to really get scared, that if we miss out on collecting that water, what will happen? That's where I understood water is very important. Okay. And till date, since I was in my hometown, Assam, I never faced these kind of challenges. Whenever you want water, it's there, 100 feet below your land, it's water is there. Just switch on the pump and you get the water. And what I understood is that in urban spaces, water scarcity is a big problem. And then I did some statistic studies and I realized 40% of Mumbaikars don't receive water on a daily basis, or they don't have a pipeline water. Okay, which means that they need to store, they need to collect. At the same time, a lot of houses and high-rise buildings where they were, getting water, they were not utilizing it usefully. Okay, and the per capita water consumption was very. Research here made me understand that many developed countries have these water efficiency norms, and the fixtures what you buy there are water efficient. Which I mean to say is that how you buy an electricity bulb here, it has a rating. It says your fan or your bulb is a 2-star or 3-star rated or 4-star rated. Okay. Similarly, when you buy a plumbing device in a US or in some European markets, even in Singapore, they will have a water efficiency rating on it. How many liters of water will it dispense at what pressure? Is it water saving? Is dispensing, is higher or lower? Whereas unfortunately in India, we do not have this kind of practice. I've been in talks with Indian Plumbing Association also, and at different platforms also I have talked about it. In fact, I have approached Jal Shakti Ministry, Jal Abhiyan Ministry to bring up these practices. I have already given them a written request. Okay. So because of which, what happens is the water flow, whatever flow is coming out of your tap, shower heads, or any kind of plumbing fixture, what you have in your house, is totally dependent on the water pressure. If the pressure is high, the flow is high. If the pressure is low, the flow is low. Now, you actually don't know what is the flow. Why? Because you don't have any control mechanism there. So give you a small example. I remember one very this thing that my mom used to say that when I was brushing my teeth or something, I used to open the tap and she used to shout, "Arey dheere chalao, pani gir raha hai uchal uchal ke, dheere chalao. Why are you running it so fast?" And it is getting, and the spill is happening all over, splashes of water. Now, at that point of time, it didn't strike me, but at this point of time, it strikes me whenever I see this splash happening. Okay, I understand that this is more water than required, which is coming out of the tap, and it is wasting a lot of water. That water is going down the drain. And once this water is gone down the drain, what happens? A resource which was suitable for hygiene purpose becomes a waste. It goes and mixes with your, if it's an upcycle, it goes and mixes with the black water, your urine and solid waste, and then it gets recycled. Even after it is recycled, it is no more potable. Okay, it goes directly into your rivers and lakes. In case you don't have a recycling system, that whole water goes into your drains, and then from drains, it goes to river and the sea. Basically, you end up polluting everything. An important resource became a burden on the earth. I think with this, I answered your first question.
Yeah, so that's really interesting to know that, how you moved from water abundant place to water stressed place, and that prompted you. So what I would like to know is that what are the types of devices? Because people will be curious to know what are we talking about, that when we say, see, one thing I want to stress to all of, before we introduce these type of devices, which tend to use less water. Very important aspect is that whenever we're trying to reduce the water consumption or optimize or become more efficient, we are not talking about compromising on the quality of, because water is there as an enabler of a service. Water is an enabler because it allows us to clean things. It allows us to make hygiene. So we never should compromise on that, because I often hear people talk about having a half bucket bath or a 1 bucket bath. No, the idea is not that you are supposed to cut down on the hygiene of water that you need to feel fresh and clean. It is about being smart and thinking about what are the devices we could use, we could install, that will, in fact, sometimes it may even use less than a bucket of volume, but it will give you the experience of the shower, and it will give you the cleanliness that you need to have experience it when you're having a shower. So this is very important, and I really want to stress this point, because we are not talking about, not having a bath, because many people also have shared with me that, I'm water positive because we have gone, we actually don't take bath to save water. That is not the idea. We want to be water positive. We don't want to do less negative. We want to do things smartly, so we actually have a positive experience with water. So with that, as a preface, I would like to ask Gautam that show us some devices if you have, or explain to us what are the type of devices we're talking about and what do they do.
Okay, so what are the things which we could retrofit in your house?
Retrofit.
We have
So I may stop you in between, because there are people who may not understand some of these technical terms. So what Gautam is saying is, retrofitting means that you change the things that are already existing. So if you are living in an existing apartment, existing office, if you want to change some things in there, we call it retrofitting. That means you remove the existing and change it. Yeah.
Yes. So see here, our company's specialization is that, we help you reduce water in your existing homes. We are not asking you to build a new home. We neither want you to throw away your old devices. Okay, what we want you is that you bring some alterations in your existing device, so that, you can make them efficient at a very, very low cost. And your ROI could come as quick as, in less than 2 months or 3 months. And we have experience, if an apartment goes for a complete retrofit of its own building, it could do a savings of 15-20% overall savings in the water consumption. And if you're buying a water tank where you're paying 900,000 rupees per tank, okay, your water consumption could come down, as your water cost could come down, and maintenance cost could come down by 10-15% drastically, which means that your investments, what you are doing, is lesser than a coffee on a CCD or a pizza, but the savings are tremendous for the years together. Okay, so see, if I have to show you a catalog, it's a long list of catalogs. Okay, there are different kind of devices.
Instead, what you could do, we could share the screen. We can share the screen of the.
Yeah. So let's not get confused with many devices. What I'm talking about here is that you could retrofit your taps, you could retrofit your shower heads, you could retrofit your WC flush tanks, you could retrofit your utility taps. If it is a commercial property, you could retrofit a urinal. Whatever plumbing devices, wherever you see the water is flowing down and it is going to the drain, wherever you are doing a rinsing application. Okay, it could be the body, it could be utensil, it could be hands. Wherever you do these kind of application, there we could optimize the flow. Conservation is the result. Okay, what we are bringing is efficiency and optimization. Conservation would be the result. That is why we never say, I never say that my products do water conservation, they are water conservation device. We always say water efficient device, because as soon as we say conservation, people have this negative thought that, they want me to, cut down on everything, and I'm spending money. Why should I cut down on everything? Okay, so I'm talking about efficiency. Sometimes, the fixtures are designed so scientifically that even at lesser water, they will give you an experience of higher water volume. Okay, so few of the devices which I want to show you, small fixtures. It can be retrofitted in your taps, basically small fixtures. They are designed water efficiently. What it does is basically it compensates the pressure. There is a pressure which is coming on the pipeline, right? That kind of pressure is not required to get dispensed. That flow rate can be, altered. So what it does is it has some mechanism inside which could alter the water pressure and reduce the flow and spread the water in a way that it gives you an illusion that, you're using more water, or, you're not compromising on aesthetics.
Yeah.
And how much savings can we do? Just to tell you, a 20-liter flowing tap and a sink tap and a kitchen tap could be retrofitted to a, minimum of 0.5 liters per minute. 95% reduction we could do. we could retrofit a shower head, which dispenses 30 liters of water to 6 liters or 7 liters. And believe me, you will not feel any difference in your experience. The same
Sure.
utility, but at a lesser water.
So thank you, Gautam. I have a short show I can show on a screen, and then later on the catalog can be always emailed. I mean, we'll share it with you, no problem. So this is just to give you a glimpse. This is how the tap aerators are. There's also like the hand jet that we use for the toilets. That also are many times inefficient. You can change that. Low flow hand jet, low flow shower heads, and then there is this toilet tank bank that you can easily insert in an existing toilet flush tank, and that will bring down the volume of the water that is putting out every time you flush. So as Gautam is saying, that there is these devices like tap aerators can, first of all, you need to know how much is the flow rate of your current tap. So generally, inefficient tap will be putting out 12 to 15 liters a minute. So if you measure how much volume it fills up in 1 minute, it will be 12 to 15 liters. By inserting this in your existing tap, it can be brought down to 2 to 0.5 liters per minute even. So that's a significant savings, and without compromising, because it puts out the water under pressure. And because of that, you still can clean things. You can, do the same job of what the tap was doing. So, and the same with the low flow shower head. It can be reduced up to 50 to 60% of water that it puts out every minute. And the tank bank, every tank bank is about 2 liters it will save. So if you put 2 of them, so it will save 4 liters will be reduced in putting out the flush tank, but you still are flushing water, but it's just that you're not having to flush a lot of water. So this is just to give you an example. So I think, that's because we want, and through the website links, we will be able to, why don't you, can I request you, Gautam, that please put your link to your website on the chat so people can copy it while we are, doing that. So that will be useful. And also, we are going to the Zoom we'll need to relog. So I hope I can put the Zoom link again to all of you. Please copy it down so that you are able to log back in, because in few minutes it is going to, in 6 minutes time, it is going to log out because of the 40-minute limit. So please, all of you, I request, we have 5 minutes left. So please go to the chat where I posted the Zoom link. So copy it and save it so that when we do lose, when this cuts out, you're able to log back in using the same link. Okay, and we will post the Eco 365 catalog in the new chat, in the new Zoom when we have. That is not to worry, but please do copy the Zoom link, because you will lose the Zoom link once the 40-minute is out. So, okay, so we'll still continue because we have 6 minutes. It's a bit of a time. So Gautam, as we move our conversation forward, what I would also like to do is that I am remembering the experience that I had of this water efficiency savings. We did a very big program in Australia, in Sydney, where I was working. And the reason I want to share that experience is because it is an experience, or it is something that is transferable, doesn't matter which country, because many times, some of the experiences we say, oh, it's only possible because it's Australia, in India we cannot do it. But I don't think this experience that I'm about to share is something we cannot transfer. And that is, so what we did was, is it people are joining here? Is that what we are hearing the rings from? Okay, so in Australia, in Sydney Water is the water utility, and what we did there was that we were helping Sydney Water to understand that why they should promote water efficiency to their customers. Now, imagine a water utility makes money from selling water, correct? So they supply water, people pay the water bills, and they get money. The more water people buy, the more money the water utility makes. But I was part of a think tank group, a sustainability think tank group, and we were showing through evidence to Sydney Water that if they invested to help their customers install all the water efficient taps, water efficient flush tanks, then they will save so much water that it will actually be a profitable business for water companies. Now, that sounds quite not right, because when they say, when people are reducing their water consumption, the water revenue goes down, correct? But with in the case of water utility, the reason it was making a fantastic business case, and because of that study that we did for Sydney Water, they went on to invest 60 to 70 million dollars every year for continuously for 10 years. Why? Why would a water company invest? Simply because what happens is a city's water utility is constantly having to upgrade its water infrastructure because the population is continuously growing. So it is not about meeting the water demand for current population, but also the future. So what happens is when you invest in such water efficiency, you are suddenly not having to upgrade your infrastructure because of the population increase, because you've cut down your demand. That is one advantage. The second advantage is water is pumped. Pumping energy is huge for every water utility. For Bangalore, 80% of their cost is about electricity bill, because water is pumped from a long distance. It is pumped throughout the city to reach your tap. And every utility in every city has a energy bill to pay because of the pumping of water. So when they reduce the demand of water, they suddenly are saving on their energy bill. And the treatment plant, when the wastewater is generated from a high water use, the treatment plants are also having to cope with a high volume of wastewater. So when you suddenly have you reduce the water usage or water volume that is used, the wastewater volume generated is also reduced. And so we were able to capture all those, monetary benefits that a utility can get by the utility investing money in the customers saving water. So in the same way, even though in India, we are not, many of the apartments are managing their own costs and expenses. They have to pump borewell water from from deep borewells, pay energy bill. They have to heat water to have hot water. So all these energy bills that are associated with water, they go down when you become more water efficient. So that is why it's not just about saving water, but it's also about saving the energy that is associated with water and the money that you're paying for the energy bill. So I think this is I found it very fascinating that, it became amazingly new experience for me. And I was the one doing the analysis, and we were finding out that it was, and they actually invested money in the program. So I think the whole message is that if we are paying for our water bills and the energy bills, then it makes sense to introduce water efficiency and examine our water usage. So we have 1 minute now. So I would request all of you to, I think, instead of getting cut out all of a sudden, let's log out, okay? And then log back in about 2 minutes or 3 minutes, because I'll give it a bit of a time to log in back. So use the same link. I hope all of you have copied the link that I have posted on the chat to re-log back into the Zoom. Okay. So each of you can start logging out, and then I will also log out, and then we will log back in using the same Zoom link. So I hope to see you back, in a few minutes. All right. So thank you so much. We'll meet you again soon.